Hey, what up everybody? Kevin here. We're going to be going over a trade recap today of our trade that we did this morning. I made $550 trading NQ today, and let's back test it together. So kind of what I did here is I went on replay mode, and we're just going to kind of go through this step by step so we can kind of see what my mindset was, what my thought process, and why my bias is what it was, and just kind of take it step by step, hold your hand along the way, and yeah, show you what I do. So first off, I'll mark out London session and Asian session, and then I mark out basically London and Asian session highs and lows. If they're already swept out, I don't mark them. So we're gonna go through here, and also don't mind the 9 o'clock candle. I put it at 9:30, but it shows that 9 to 10 already happened. We're just gonna ignore that. Price is down here. But yeah, so I don't mark out anything else except for that to start. Obviously we end up sweeping at this high, but we don't know that yet, right? I check the 4 hour, kind of see what price is looking like, what we're trying to do here. Obviously we see we're chopping up a lot end of last week, and obviously when market opened on Sunday afternoon, then I kind of scale down. I kind of just work my way down, see what we're looking at here, what my bias might be for the day. Obviously that can change really fast, but I like to get a general understanding of where market wants to go. Obviously we could see here that we had a fair value gap that we filled, bullish fair value gap. We kind of closed below it, so I'm taking that into consideration, but nothing crazy. One thing that I also am taking consideration is equilibrium. So what equilibrium is price coming down into a discount and then continuing higher. I just mark it from the swing low to the swing high, and obviously we can see that market is slowly starting to go higher. Obviously with how the market is moving, we are already not in a discount, so if I were to look to go long right now or today, it would have definitely had to be in this discount or have to get a good fill in order to catch that move and have a good risk to reward and not get stopped out. So overall, my bias kind of going into the day was shorts, but I wasn't keeping longs out of the picture just because we've been on a downtrend for quite some time now. So then I kind of scale down. I usually don't look at the 15 too much. Unless if I don't have any London lows or Asian highs, or if I'm trying to find more areas to mark out, more liquidity to mark out, then I'll kind of keep that into account. But yeah, it's not really a prime. It's not one of my biggest things. I'm usually staying on the 1 hour, the 5 minute, and the 1 minute. And then the 4 hour and the 15, I'm kind of just keeping tabs on. Same thing with ES. I'm kind of keeping tabs on ES as well, which we'll kind of get into. So moving forward, obviously we're kind of getting at that discount. My main goal is waiting for this high to be swept. I think it might have been a little lower. This is all a little whack, but yeah. We're gonna hop down to the 5 minute. I mark out market open at 9:30, and then I'll mark out the macro, which the macro is between 10 minutes before an hourly candle closes and 10 minutes after. The macro, the highest impact macro, is between 9:15 and 10:10. So I like to typically trade between that range. If I can find a trade right beforehand or right after, that's okay by me. So we're gonna kind of go through here, and we're gonna start out on the 5 minute, kind of see how market opens here. Obviously we had that big jump, huge jump. Now obviously we swept this high and we've continued a lot higher, so then I'm kind of going down in the hourly and see what's going on. Obviously we swept out some liquidity up here, don't need that anymore. Jump to the 4 hour. Oh, look at that. We also filled the 4 hour fair value gap. Also, I'm looking at where equilibrium is on the 4 hour from this version. Also, we're getting very close to equilibrium as well, so it's something to keep an account for. Hourly, we also have an hourly fair value gap up here. If price moves that high off of market open, I'm probably not going to trade against that. So I'm not really focused too much on that. More focused on that 4-hour fair value gap. And that 4-hour high getting filled. I mean, this is just prime looks for a sell. My goal here was kind of not really targeting these London and Asian lows because we're so overextended right now that I don't see, we're 250 points in one direction. I don't see us just going in a straight line up and a straight line down. It's not really how the markets move. So I really don't see us going all the way down here. So my initial bias is kind of taking out these market open lows. But we're going to scale down to the 1 minute because kind of coming up on the macro, we might get an early fill. And also we already swept off some key areas here. So we're going to kind of slowly start to look for an entry for a short and more of a reason to go short. So we're going to continue here. Obviously, we invest first that fair value gap. Now I'm marking out, we have this fair value gap here, and we also have this fair value gap here, which we just tapped into. So we're going to mark that out right now. Another thing I like to kind of keep in mind off the top of my head is waiting for a 1 minute break of structure. 1 minute break of structure could be here, or actually we just made that high. So 1 minute break of structure would be right off of that candle. Originally before that started coming up, break of structure would be right here. But fills that fair value gap, and then we come down. Oh, jump too far ahead. So filled that fair value gap, closed below. Not only that, but on the 1 minute, did we fill 1 minute equilibrium? We did. So now, obviously, before I enter, I wait for candle closure, first off, and second off, I am making sure that the risk to reward is in my favor, or I'm not going to enter. It's not worth my time. So obviously we have these highs. I could stretch it out above that 4-hour fair value gap, but then the risk really wouldn't be worth it. And we're kind of getting set up to the downside. So unless this is going to be a fake out, my bias is that we're going to go down, and we're going to go down right now. So final take profit was at these lows right when market opened. So we swept out high time frame, targeting low time frame liquidity. Also, because like I said earlier, we are so overextended to the upside, I don't see us coming all the way down. We might not even come down and take these lows out. So I'm going to look for multiple take profit areas, which for me, I actually stretched it out on this low, was just overall equilibrium to the buy side. So my first take profit was at equilibrium to the buy side, and second take profit was right here. Now we're going to watch what happens. Respects this fair value gap, right? Cool, right? Sitting on my hands, not doing anything. Like, see where price is going. Now we sweep out this area right here, and I am taking out half of my position, 50% of my position, which I'm already just over a 1-to-1 risk reward, obviously, because I'm taking out 50% of my position. I'm not actually securing a 1-to-1, but I took out half of my position right there. Don't remember how much it was. I wasn't paying attention about the money. Now we're going to continue further, and we can see markets coming down. So now this is where I ended up taking out my position early, and I'm going to tell you why. First off, my mindset this whole time was not sure if we're going to secure these lows. Obviously, that's our bias, that's our goal, but we might not. And also, we have so many fair value gaps here that we have to fill. We could respect one of these fair value gaps, and also now that we're in bullish equilibrium, we're starting to respect some bullish confluences that's going to go against our bias, right? So now I'm looking kind of, not reasons to exit my trade, but I'm looking for reasons, or not reasons, but I'm looking for basically, yeah, reasons to exit my trade in case of it coming up to my stop loss. Also, another thing I want to mention, when I hit equilibrium, I took out, or I moved my stop loss to break even, so we don't have to worry about that. So this is when I went over to ES. We're gonna look at the time. Macro just opened 9:51, and at this time frame at 9:51, we have not swept out market open low, or we did just sweep out market open lows. So now I am kind of, in my head, I'm like, okay, we swept these lows, market might want to move higher, because obviously ES here is the leading market right now. NASDAQ is following ES right now, right? Obviously we don't need, we'll keep that. So now I'm kind of looking at other areas. Obviously we have this fair value gap. We fill the fair value gap. We break out of the fair value gap. I kind of noticed that we break out of the fair value gap. We respected it. We have buying power out of it. Even though it's really small, we have buying power out of it. I closed the rest of my position. I can't remember if it was right when it closed or I waited a little longer, but it was somewhere in this range. Closed it right there. It was like a 1 to 2.5 for the day. Don't remember exactly where I closed it, but yeah, that was my trade. Now, I waited, obviously I didn't have any positions, but let's see if I end up hitting the rest of my take profit. If I held my position, market came up, filled the fair value gap right here. And then, I forgot to mention, we had 10 o'clock PMI, high impact news today. Not high impact, but we had a road folder today, and that pushed the market to sweep out those lows. That was also another reason why I wanted to get out. Wasn't sure if it was going to come up and stop me out. Overall, in my head, I think I did a good job getting out at the time I did. Obviously could have secured some more money, left some money on the table, but I protected my profits and I got out at a reasonable exit, securing 85-90 points on the NQ today. So overall, that was my bias for the day. That was my trade today.